The fastest way to lose money on a cruise. It isn't in the casino. It's the 6 or 7 hours that you spend off the ship in port. That's where the scams live, and most of them don't even look like scams at all. They look like a friendly guy with a taxi, a card reader at a beach bar, and a Wi-Fi network named after the town you just walked into. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. I've cruised enough to have seen most of these up close, so here are the 8 port day money scams I watch out for on every single cruise, and exactly what I do about each of them. And before anyone clicks off nervous, port days are the best part of cruising. I absolutely love them. This isn't about being scared or being paranoid. It's just being aware that the second you step off that gangway, you're a tourist with money in an unfamiliar place. And there's a whole little economy built around exactly that, unfortunately. Knowing the list is the entire game, so save this before your next sailing. So let's count them down. Number 1, the fixed price switch. This is the very first one you'll meet before you're even fully off the pier. Someone quotes you a great price to get you to the beach. It sounds fair, your family piles into the vehicle, and somehow when you arrive, the price is now per person. Or was it one way only? Or there's suddenly a fee that never came up when you agreed. It happened to me on a Mediterranean cruise in Italy. This is a classic bait and switch, and it works because you're already in the car and you just want to get to the sand or wherever it is that you're going. And sometimes there aren't alternative options. You got to get back. Now, here's what I do in lessons learned. I agree on the full price out loud before I get in, and I confirm 2 things. One, that it is the total price, and that it is round trip if that's what I actually want. I also ask which currency that price is in, because 20 can turn into 20 of the more expensive currency at the end of the ride. And if the driver can't give me a straight, simple answer to any of that, well, that's my answer. I also don't get into an unmarked car just because the person is confident. Confidence is the whole tool here. That's why con men are called con men. It's actually confidence men. Did you know that? I just learned that not that long ago. The friendliest, most relaxed guy on the pier is relaxed because he wants you to feel at ease. He's relaxed because he does this every single day. Number 2, the dollars please trick. This one's sneaky because it's disguised as a convenience. A vendor or an ATM will offer to change you in US dollars instead of the local currency. It feels helpful, it feels handy. It is not helpful, nor is it handy. That's called dynamic currency conversion. And the exchange rate they use to do it is almost always not in your favor. It's usually pretty terrible. You are literally paying a markup for the comfort of seeing a familiar dollar sign on the cash register screen. So at any card reader or any ATM abroad, when I asked whether you want to pay in US dollars or the local currency, I always pick the local currency. I let my own card handle the conversion because my card's rate is going to beat theirs. And that beach vendor who says they only take cash, only take US dollars, and oh, here's our exchange rate, well, that rate was set to win for them, not to be fair to you. Now, the bigger fix here is just carrying the right card. A good travel credit card skips foreign transaction fees completely. You never want to use a debit card when traveling. Never, especially when you're traveling abroad. So with a travel credit card, you're not going to lose out on those percentages on every single thing that you buy abroad. And the good ones also come with real fraud protection baked into it. So if your number does get grabbed or skimmed, you're covered instead of on the hook. Or even with a debit card, even if you're covered, you're out your cash for a while until the dispute is resolved and it takes time to get your money back. It's one of the easiest things you can do before you ever leave home. And I'll drop a link below for my favorite travel card. It's the one I personally use and recommend. But I don't care what travel card you use, just use a credit card, not a debit card, and your best bet is going to be a credit card specifically for travel. Number 3, card skimmers and a handheld reader. Now, this is the one that really hurts, so pay attention. ATMs and card readers in tourist-heavy ports, they are a classic target, and the reason is simple. The people running these know that a brand new boatload of visitors rolls in every single day, and most of them are gone again by dinner time. We are the perfect mark as cruisers because we're not going to be around when the problem later shows up. There are 2 versions of this. The first is a physical skimmer attached to an ATM. So before I ever use an ATM, especially when traveling abroad, I give the card slot a little wiggle to make sure nothing's loose or added on. I cover the keypad with my hand when I type in my PIN, and I try to avoid random street ATMs altogether. I try to use just my travel credit card and bring some cash with me for places that don't take cards. The second version is more subtle and is the one people never think about. You hand your card to a vendor, they walk off with it for a second, or they run it through a little handheld reader, and now your card number is sitting inside a system you'll never see again, in a country whose consumer protections you don't know and you can't count on. And here's the scary part about both of these. You will not feel it happen. There's no dramatic moment. You find out about it usually weeks later when you're home staring at a charge on your statement and you're like, what is that? Where is that from? Which is exactly why I stopped relying on trying to catch this stuff myself, because I am not always the best about looking at my credit card statements and giving them a close look. Now, this next part, it is a sponsored mission, and yeah, a girl's got bills to pay. And you know, I do not do these very often, and you already know how I work. I only ever put my name on stuff I actually use and believe in. I almost never do sponsored posts or videos. This one, though, is legit relevant to everything we're talking about in this video, so it definitely earned its spot. So here is my honest reality. I spend half of my time on sketchy travel Wi-Fi, and I'm constantly handing my card to vendors that I've never met, and I'm also typing it into booking sites that I have never used that sometimes don't seem legit, but you got to take a chance sometimes when you travel a lot. There is no way I can personally watch for every way that comes back around to bite me. CoverOn does that part for me. It runs quietly in the background and it flags for me the things that I don't see coming, like my card information showing up somewhere it shouldn't, or someone trying to use my identity while I'm 3 time zones away and not exactly checking my email from a beach. I once was traveling abroad. It was a New Year's Caribbean cruise. My credit card number got compromised and my card was actually blocked for the remainder of the cruise. So I could have been up a real creek. Luckily, I had another card, but these things do happen even for people like me who are pretty conscientious about it. What I like most about CoverOn is that it's just running. It's just doing its thing. I'm super busy. I don't want to add one more thing to my port day checklist or my pre-cruise planning. There's already enough stuff to do. It's already hectic enough. So with this, it's watching my back so I can actually be present and enjoy my cruise and make content for you all. So if you want to try it out, the first 100 people get 20% off with my code, which is simple. It's Melissa at coveron.com/ you got it, Melissa. That's coveron.com/ Melissa, and the code is Melissa. The link and the code are right here on the screen, and I've also pinned them in the top comment down below too. So, all right, back to the list. And yeah, that one is legit. Number 4. I already mentioned I use Wi-Fi a lot. Sometimes the Wi-Fi is sketchy, especially when you're dealing with public Wi-Fi. This is the one people underestimate the most. Ship Wi-Fi is usually okay, but when you're at port, and we're talking about port days here, you might be looking for Wi-Fi at a cafe, especially if you were balling on a budget and you're too cheap or say frugal to buy the cruise ship Wi-Fi, which fair enough, it's super, super expensive. So you think, hey, I'll just connect to some free public Wi-Fi like at a cafe once I'm off the ship on port day. But that friendly looking network though, that magically appears the second you step on land, you have no idea who else is sitting on that network with you. So it's important when you're cruising on port days using public Wi-Fi to treat every single one of those public networks like they are public. Treat them like a stranger reading over your shoulder. That means don't do any banking, don't put in any card numbers, don't put your social security number, don't log into anything sensitive while you're on public Wi-Fi in cruise port destinations, especially around the cruise ship terminal. Now, things like pulling up your excursion voucher, checking your email, posting pictures for your family to see on Facebook, totally fine usually. But moving money around, I would wait until you're on the ship Wi-Fi or you're on a network that you trust or use a VPN or something like that. Number 5, the Too Good Pier excursion. This is a big one for your wallet. Off the ship, you're gonna get off, right? There's always local vendors there clamoring for your business. They're gonna offer you an amazing excursion for way less than the cruise line charges. Now, sometimes that is a legit great deal. It's a real local operator and they offer a good deal. I'm a big fan of independent excursions. I talk about them all the time and how much I prefer them over cruise ship excursions, which I think are marked up. They are, and overpriced. But you still got to be careful. You got to do your due diligence. Sometimes those tour operators is just a person who's going to take your cash and dash and never be seen again, or a tour that looks nothing like what they promised you and what you paid for. Online, it's the same trap in a different outfit. When cruising is this expensive, a cheap deal on a booking site that you've never heard of is really tempting. And some of those sites are wonderful. There's some I recommend, I use all the time. Viator Resort for a Day, Get Your Guide, Venture Ashore, very legit, always good. But there are some other sites out there that are not so legitimate. So here is my rule. I book excursions through operators like the ones that I mentioned that I've used before, that I've vetted, that I know are reputable, that I've had a good experience with. And if I am really unsure, as much as I don't like cruise line excursions, if I am in a foreign country where I'm not as familiar, that is a little bit more rustic, that is a little bit more known to be not as safe, I will actually book a cruise line excursion, especially if the logistics are risky or something like that. But regardless of which way I go, whenever possible, I always pay with a card, never with cash. So if something goes sideways, I actually have some manner of recourse. Number 6, and if you do a European cruise, I talked about that Mediterranean cruise, Pickpockets. Pickpockets and distraction teams. It was rampant when I went to go see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, also in Italy. Italy, what do you got going on? All the scams that I've seen, most predominantly in cruising, have actually been in Italy. I love Italy. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been, but man, they be scamming in Italy. But anyway, pickpockets were very obvious, at least to me, and our tour guide pointed them out for us. But pickpockets abound, and they're not always so obvious. And this is the one that happens when you are distracted. That's the whole point of it. Busy markets, crowded tender lines, that gorgeous photo spot like the Leaning Tower of Pisa where everybody's looking up and leaning, right? One person creates a little moment, a bump, a spilled drink, a friendly stranger asking you to take their picture, and while your attention is on that, someone else is in your bag. So I always keep my bag zipped up. If I have a fanny pack, I keep it in front of me, or a backpack, put it in front of you, not behind you. I do not keep my phone or my cash in an open back pocket ever, and I only carry what I actually need off the ship that day, and I leave everything else back in the stateroom safe. Number 7, the padded tab and double swipe. This is a smaller one, but it can add up fast. Beach clubs and bars that run your card more than once, or add a service line you never agreed to, or they hand you a tab with a couple of drinks on it that you know you did not order. And it works because nobody is watching that closely on vacation. We're trying to relax. You're having a good time. People are drinking, and they know that better than anyone. So it's really important that you keep a rough tally in your head of what you're spending, especially at the bar. Check your total before you ever sign anything, and watch your card alerts on port days. If your bank or your credit card offers real-time transaction notifications, that's what I do. I get a text every single time my credit card is charged. It's real-time. It tells me the vendor. It tells me the date. It's important to turn those on before you set sail, because that little buzz in your pocket can be one of the best fraud tools that you got, and it's free. Number 8, the free gift, but with strings. This is my personal favorite to walk away from. That free gift that somehow requires 90 minutes of your limited port day and a signature. The port shopping guaranteed jewelry deal that was marked up specifically for cruise crowds. And I saw this in Cartagena recently. They have a big trade in emerald, and getting sucked into those emerald shops and sold overpriced emeralds is a big thing. And I'm a pretty savvy customer, I'd like to say, and even I got hooked into buying some emerald earrings that I really probably didn't even want, and I really have only worn one time since I got them 7 months ago. Now here's the truth. Nothing free costs you nothing. So if they offer you a free charm or a free trinket, and the cruise lines do this too, right? With the FE jewelry, come get your free charm and they get you in and they try to sell you something. But free is not really free. If it needs your time, your signature, or your card to claim it, or they're gonna put on a high pressure sales pitch, that's really a sales funnel wrapped up in a bow. So I just keep it moving, keep walking, and say thank you, but no thank you. Because my port time is worth more to me than a free tote bag, a charm, or anything else, and I don't want to get hooked into buying something I really don't want or need. And personally for me, I visit cruise ports to embrace the local culture, learn, and experience, not to spend time in a gift shop.